You wake up exhausted. 7 hours of sleep, and your brain is wrapped in fog by 10 a.m. You crave sugar before lunch. You blame the mattress, the stress, the aging. You are wrong. Your own liver dumped glucose into your bloodstream between 2 and 4 a.m. while you were unconscious. That is not poor sleep. That is a glucose hangover. How many mornings this week have you woken up tired despite sleeping 7 hours? 3? 5? Every single one? According to Diabetes Care, the official journal of the American Diabetes Association, a specific compound can reduce fasting blood sugar by 29%. Not medication. Not insulin injections. A kitchen ingredient that costs less than $1. There is a spice. It is probably sitting in your cupboard right now. Researchers discovered it mimics insulin at the cellular level, tricking your cells into accepting glucose before it floods your system. But here is the catch. The wrong type of this spice will poison your liver instead of saving it. But waking up tired is just the symptom you feel. What is actually happening inside, between 2 and 4 a.m., while you are unconscious, is far more alarming. And it explains why sleeping pills will never fix this. The medical term is hepatic glucose release. Think of it as the liver and APO's unauthorized night shift. Your liver is a fuel pump. It stores glucose as glycogen during the day and releases it when your body needs energy. The problem is the timer. The timer is broken. Here is what happens. As evening arrives, your insulin sensitivity drops by up to 30%. Your cells become resistant. They stop accepting glucose efficiently. Your liver interprets this as an emergency. It assumes you are starving. So it begins converting stored glycogen back into glucose and pumping it directly into your bloodstream. Between 2 and 4 a.m., your liver can release enough stored glucose to spike your blood sugar by 30 milligrams per deciliter, while you are completely unconscious. Picture an engine parked in a garage overnight. The fuel pump should be dormant. Instead, it runs continuously. Fuel floods the carburetor. The cylinders fill with liquid. By morning, the engine is hydrolocked. Drowning. When you try to start it, it sputters. It chokes. It refuses to turn over cleanly. That sputtering engine is your brain at 6 a.m. The fog. The heaviness behind your eyes. The desperate reach for caffeine or sugar to force ignition. You are not tired because you slept poorly. You are metabolically flooded because your fuel pump ran all night without permission. Standard medication targets mealtime spikes. It intervenes after you eat. But this overnight release is autonomous. Your liver does not wait for instructions. It runs on a pre-programmed timer that most pharmaceuticals do not touch. Let me say that again. Your liver is not waiting for instructions. It is running on a pre-programmed timer that medication does not touch. Later, I will show you an acidic liquid that essentially tells your liver to keep its glucose locked in the vault overnight, transforming it from a generous accountant who releases too much into a strict accountant who refuses to open the vault until morning. But first, you need to understand why your liver is being so recklessly generous in the first place. The good news? Modern clinical research has identified specific compounds, found in ordinary kitchen ingredients, that can intercept this process before it floods your system. The most powerful one reduces fasting glucose by 29%. And it is probably in your cupboard right now. The spice is Ceylon cinnamon. The active compound is cinnamaldehyde. It functions as a bypass valve in your metabolic fuel system. When your cells become resistant, when they refuse to open their glucose gates, cinnamaldehyde intervenes. It mimics insulin at the receptor level. It tricks your cells into opening. The excess fuel gets absorbed into the cylinders before it floods the engine. Diabetes Care documented the mechanism. Patients consuming between 1 and 6 grams daily showed fasting blood sugar reductions up to 29%. This is not influencer medicine. This is not wellness blog speculation. This is the journal your endocrinologist reads, or should be reading. The execution is specific. Steep 1 cinnamon stick or half a teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon powder in 1.5 cups of water. 10 minutes. No less. No sweetener. Drink it warm, 60 minutes before bed. This timing allows the cinnamaldehyde to reach peak blood concentration precisely as your liver begins its night shift. But here is where most people unknowingly make things worse. They buy the wrong type of cinnamon and end up poisoning the very organ they are trying to protect. There are two types of cinnamon: Ceylon, also called true cinnamon, and cassia. Cassia contains up to 1% coumarin, a compound toxic to the liver at therapeutic doses. If you are consuming 3 to 6 grams daily, the amount needed for metabolic effect, cassia will damage your liver over time. Ceylon contains only trace amounts, 0.004%. If the label does not specify Ceylon, assume it is cassia. This distinction is non-negotiable. Now the acidic liquid. Apple cider vinegar. The strict accountant. Acetic acid directly inhibits the liver and APO's release of stored glucose. It tells the fuel pump to remain dormant. Studies published in Diabetes Care show that 2 tablespoons before bed reduces fasting glucose by 4 to 6%. Diluted in 8 ounces of water. Never drink it straight. Acetic acid erodes tooth enamel. For those in South Asia where apple cider vinegar is less common, jamun vinegar, black plum vinegar, operates on the same mechanism. Both contain organic acids that inhibit alpha-amylase, the enzyme that breaks down starches into glucose. Same principle. Different bottle. 1 teaspoon in water before bed. Fenugreek water adds a second layer. The compound is 4-hydroxyisoleucine, an amino acid that directly stimulates the pancreas to produce more insulin. Combined with galactomannans, a soluble fiber that slows carbohydrate absorption, it creates a metabolic double strike. Soak 5 to 10 grams, roughly 1 teaspoon, of fenugreek seeds in water overnight. Consume in the morning. Fair warning, if you use fenugreek regularly, your sweat might start smelling like maple syrup. It is harmless, but your gym partner may ask questions. Chamomile tea operates on a different pathway entirely. The active compound is apigenin. It reduces cortisol, the stress hormone that triggers the liver to release glucose as part of the fight-or-flight response. Lower cortisol means a quieter liver. The Journal of Nutrition documented HbA1c reduction after 8 weeks of regular consumption. 1 to 2 cups before bed. What to avoid absolutely. Sweetened aloe vera drinks. Commercial brands often contain high fructose corn syrup listed in the first 3 ingredients. You are pouring glucose directly into a system already drowning in it. That is not medicine. That is metabolic sabotage. These are not miracle cures. They are biological signals, telling your liver to stand down, telling your cells to open up. The question is, what happens when you actually follow through for 7 days? Picture this. 7 days from now. You wake at 6 a.m. Not because the alarm forces you. Because your body is ready. Your eyes open without the familiar heaviness. No fog. No desperate reach for the coffee pot. You walk past the break room donuts at 10 a.m. You do not want them. Not because of willpower. Because the craving is simply absent. That is not a fantasy. That is your metabolic engine running clean. Remember the 10 a.m. crash? The fog, the cravings, the exhaustion despite adequate sleep? That becomes your 10 a.m. clarity test. The benchmark. If the fog lifts, if the cravings quiet, if you pass the donuts without a second glance, the protocol is working. Your liver received the signal. Your body is not betraying you. It is responding to signals you did not know you were sending. Change the signal. Change the response. In the next protocol, we dismantle the one breakfast food that reverses everything you just learned. It spikes cortisol within 30 minutes of consumption. It floods your system before your feet hit the floor. And it sits in 90% of kitchens.